So our work starts in the part where it says, I'll tell you. Now she stands at the door, until the part where it says there was blood upon her white dress and the signs of terrible efforts to escape were upon every part of her thin form.
Here it goes, or a alternative ending. Suddenly the girl jumped toward his brother and tried to strangle him. He didn't react, and me neither. My friend N's eyes suddenly took color and were full of anger. He hit his sister in the head and she took some steps back. I saw the knife at the same time as both brothers. They both tried to reach the knife, but I was quicker and I was steps closer to it. I tried to calm them both, but it was impossible. They were very mad at each other and were out of control. Asher lost control and tried to kill his sister, but his efforts weren't enough because his sister was faster and tackled him. I tried to help Asher, but it was too late. He tripped down the stairs and broke his head in the falling of the water. This one broke the railing. The floor was full of blood as well as his sister. Before being tackled, his sister looked at me in anger and thirst of blood. She was coming closer and closer. I couldn't move. I was frozen, and all my muscles were contracted, adding up the cold old floor of the house. It seems that I would not have a worse end of my life. I lay on the floor for a moment that seemed to be an eternity, for what I felt all the time. My intention was to crawl a chair that was there so that I could support myself, but my contracted muscles won the fight.
A few moments later, Asher, with his last breath and his last sign of life, called her sister. She looked at him with eyes full of anger and threw about she had done. With her pale face was getting nearly to his brother, and just started crying. She looked at me, but this time was something different. I was different. I was not afraid, and lots of tears were dripping down the beautiful face. She told me that I must go, that the Usher house wasn't for me. Minutes later, the house entered a type of buckle, and the ground started to move heavily. After the situation and the pressure, I had my own being. I decided to run out of the house next to my horse. I ride until I found help. I found three old adult gentlemen who helped me after seeing me drops of blood in my clothes, even though that they were a little scared in the first instance. I told them a little bit of what happened to me while we were going to the house. When we got to the house, there was no trace of what happened. The men doubted what I had said and began to care more about me.
I couldn't understand it. The house was in perfect condition from the outside. The men followed me as I walked into the house, and Mr. Usher's dead body wasn't there. I shouted as loud as I could, calling his sister, but it seemed that she couldn't hear me or didn't want to answer. I ran upstairs, went to that dark room, and tried to find the knife, but it wasn't there. I stopped and thought that maybe the girl escaped, cleaned everything, and hid the body. I remained quiet. The silence was only interrupted by the loud beat of 4 hearts in a row. I suddenly saw the book. I pointed it and turned around to see the gentlemen. I could see my own fear in their pale faces. A fifth guest entered the room. Mr. Usher, calm down. Everything is okay, he told me in a deep voice. As if a rock had hit my head, I remembered who I was. No, it couldn't be possible. I couldn't be Mr. Usher. Mr. Usher was dead. I saw him with my own eyes. Mr. Usher is dead, I said. He is dead, I repeated and shouted. Some hands reached me before everything went totally dark. I heard voices. That book, someone said, only says, help me. When I finally opened my eyes, I was in a white room, which walls were as soft as pillows.